Hello, I'm Scott Ryan. Thank you for joining me. Well, we can all line up now and abandon our senses and support Mitt Romney, coalesce behind the inevitable winner, the inevitable Republican nominee, now that Donald Trump has made his endorsement, right? It's what's going on is absurd. It's insulting. And it's obvious why this happened. The timing is confirming what the news media is saying, or at least the moderate Murdoch media. And that is, as one headline puts it, that Republicans are worried about the nastiness between Romney and Gingrich. Now, these pundits are saying that the debate between Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney's getting out of hand and it could damage the GOP. You know, there's a simple way to stop it. Stop your incessant pimping of left-wing candidates. A couple days ago, I was doing some research for my Election Day video in which I explained that I'm a Santorum supporter, but that day I decided that I must vote for Gingrich, and I'm glad that I did. But I was going through the veritable litany of liberals being used to sell Romney, those people who like voting for the salt and pepper hair and nice jawlines. And some of the names being utilized to sell Romney are, of course, none other than John McCain, Bob Dole, Charlie Crist, even Tom Brokaw, to his consternation. And, of course, he's suing to try to get himself off of those Romney ads. But I was wondering if I might add his fellow Massachusetts liberal senator, Scott Brown, to the list. And what I found is the fact that this character is a leftist is so overwhelming and inescapable to anyone who dares to open their eyes that I stopped doing my research too soon. That was my conclusion when I was looking for a link between Scott Brown and Romney. And of course, Scott Brown did endorse him this time around. But this guy is the gift that just keeps on giving. To the Democrats, of course. And it's no wonder that Obama and the Dems are salivating at the prospect of Mitt being the GOP nominee. When I Googled the words Mitt Romney, Scott Brown, I found yet another monumental harebrained scheme by Mitt that, although it might not be quite the albatross that his healthcare scam was, it is perhaps every bit as appalling to basic sense and conservative principles. Maybe even worse than the healthcare scam, because healthcare, even though this is pure socialism and against everything that we stand for, at least in that case, they can say that it's a matter of life or death. But Romney's other harebrained scheme was called Wheels for Welfare. And it was so expensive that even Scott Brown opposed it. And the liberal governor who succeeded Romney scrapped it because it was so exorbitant. That says a lot. You've got to check it out. I mean, there are numerous publications about this. I think it started with the Boston Globe. Nevertheless, this is a quote from ABC News. And they said, it was a program that gave welfare recipients free cars, free car repairs, free insurance, and even free AAA. It certainly gives us some insight into some of this so-called business acumen and expertise that a President Romney would bring to the table. After all, aside from spending about $17 million in Florida, slandering and libeling his challengers with distorted sleaze, his singular theme upon which he was running is, I was a businessman. I made hundreds of millions of dollars. Therefore, I will fix the spending in Washington, D.C. Trite as it is, that is his singular platform. That is the only thing that anyone who tries to justify their blithe support of this guy can tell you. He was a businessman. He can fix the economy. Well, there we have an example of exactly the type of sagacity that we should expect if he is able to, God forbid, secure his legacy. Not only cash for clunkers, but free clunkers, free auto repair, free auto insurance, and even free towing. Now how much would you pay? It's surreal. It really is. It really does require a willful suspension of disbelief to contend that this fellow would do anything but betray our party as others before him have, but far worse. To be honest with you, I'm sorry, but I don't even think Barack Hussein Obama has the kind of cockamamie ideas of Mitt Romney. I mean, yes, Obama unequivocally hates America. His whole political career is based on destroying America as the ultimate goal. But Obama lets people like Pelosi and Reid actually craft the specifics of their schemes. It's pretty offensive to any rational thinking person that this guy is their idea of an alternative to Obama. Honest to God, people. Wake up. Where is the record? Where is the track record? Somebody tell me what Mitt Romney has ever done in government that demonstrated a morsel of conservatism. He's a damned socialist. Newt, being the statesman he is out there campaigning, euphemistically calling him a Massachusetts moderate. You don't come up with these ideas if you are not a socialist. I'm sorry, it's an act. What is wrong with you people? You want to destroy the Republican Party? Knock yourself out. You need to get over your man crush. And yes, I know Newt has baggage. But so does our first self-admitted cocaine-snorting president. I'm not sure. He said in his book when he inoculated him, the book that he wrote years before anyone ever even knew who he was or barely even heard of him, he admitted that he experimented with cocaine, but he never was asked, was it the snortable cocaine or was it the crack variety? That's never been asked, and there are many things that never have been asked in that regard, and also about what constitutes experimenting. How long did you experiment? When was the last time you experimented? And did you ever sell it while you were in college? How did you pay for Harvard? So the one thing that the Romney campaign continues to dredge up, and despite Newt's confessions of his sins, despite the fact that we are all sinners and have fallen short, despite the fact that God forgives and doesn't rub our faces in our sins over and over and over and over again, the Romney campaign and his sycophants like to constantly dredge that up and rub our faces in it as though that, based on something that he did, some mistakes he made over a decade ago, that he can never be forgiven and could never be an effective president. Because Obama and the media are going to make morality an issue. That is nonsense. That, in addition to Barack Obama's quite plausibly being a homosexual or bisexual, based on testimony of others like Larry Sinclair, those questions were never brought up never vetted after all these years. they're not going to make this a beauty pageant of moral rectitude between Obama and Gingrich. They're not going to go there because they know that Gingrich is quite capable of bringing those things up, and he will pounce on it. I don't see that being an issue. What is an issue is that Mitt Romney is every bit as much of a socialist as Barack Obama, and he happens to be the actor, the imposter that prefers to do his little act under the banner of the Republican Party this time around, despite a career of nothing but socialist policies. He can't even campaign on anything he's ever done. I was watching a movie about 3 nights ago. I needed an escape, and it was a remake of the classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And what I am seeing in the GOP reminds me of what happened in that movie. It's bizarre. I will have no part of it. I will not debase myself or my country by voting for this sleaze. So if you want to give him the nomination, that's your business. It's preposterous. There are other options. Enough is enough. I turned 18 in 1988. Right after President Reagan left office, I looked up to him for 8 years, my childhood. And what did I get after that? George Bush. I voted for every Republican presidential candidate since 1988. Never once was the person I voted for in the primary the nominee. But I took it, and I took it, and I took it. Ever since 1988, I have played ball with these people, and look at where it's gotten us. We were even given the House, the Executive, and the Senate, and we blew it because of these socialists or so-called moderates that we've nominated. I'm not playing that game. So if you can sit there and con yourselves into thinking that this is just like then, we are on the brink of collapse. I'm done. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.